Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 8-2, solving two-step equations. Today you will solve two-step equations and solve real-world problems involving two-step equations. What is a two-step equation? A two-step equation contains two operations. To solve a two-step equation, use inverse operations to undo each operation in reverse order of the order of operations. So let's review order of operation. We have BEDMAS or PEMDAS. BEDMAS means you would do brackets first, then exponents, then division or multiplication are interchangeable depending on which one comes first from left to right, and addition and subtraction are interchangeable from left to right as well, depending on which one you see first. PEMDAS is the same. P stands for parentheses, similar to brackets. Exponents, multiplication or division, addition or subtraction. For two-step equations, they're telling you to do order of operation in reverse order. So you want to do any addition or subtraction first, division or multiplication next, exponent, and lastly, brackets or parentheses. Example 1. Here we have a two-step operation. You can see that we have 3a plus 9 equals 33. So we are trying to solve for the variable a. And we have addition. So we would start with addition. If it were subtraction, we would start with subtraction. Remember, reverse order of operation, right? So we would use subtraction property of equality to get rid of the 9 on both sides. So minus 9, and on this side, minus 9. Now let's watch. You can see here that they're using subtraction property of equality, and they're subtracting the 9 from both sides. You could also just simply bring the 9 to the other side and invert the operation. Make it minus 9. And then you would have to use, now you're left with 3a equals 24. Now you have to undo the 3a by using division property of equality, because over here we have operation, you have to do the opposite operation. So use division property of equality, and whatever you do one side of the equation, you must do it to the other side. So divide both sides by 3, you're left with a equals 8. And that's doing it vertically. Now horizontally, this is the horizontal method. Same thing. And to check your answer, you simply take what you found to be a, right? So a is 8. Take 8 and replace your variable with 8, and then solve. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 9 is 33. So yes, 33 equals 33. Okay, here we have two-step equations, with one with addition and the other with subtraction. Go ahead, pause the video and try this on your own first. Okay, I hope you paused the video and you are ready to check your answer. 1a, we have 6x plus 1 equals 25. Let's get rid of the 1 first, so minus 1 on both sides, and we get 24. On one side we get 6x, because these 1's cancel each other out, and on the other side we get 25 minus 1 is 24. Now we will use division property of equality. Divide by 6, divide by 6, x is 4. 1b, 4x minus 5 equals negative 33. Let's do reverse order of operation and get rid of the subtraction first. So let's subtract, or now we're going to use addition property of equality. To get rid of minus 5, we have to add 5, and it brings it to 0. So that's gone. And whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. And I have negative 33 plus 5 makes it negative 28. So negative 28. And I still have my 4x on this side. Now I have to use division property of equality to get rid of this 4 and isolate my x. Why division? Because between a coefficient and a variable, the operation is multiplication, and we have to do the opposite operation. So now I divide by 4, and I divide by 4. Now when you divide by 4 on this side, it doesn't just automatically get rid of it. The logic is that 4 divided by 4 is 1. So I'm just left with 1x, right? With 1x. But 1 times anything is anything, right? It's that number. So 1 times x is simply x. So I don't actually need to write the 1. Okay, so I'm left with x on that side. And negative 28 divided by 4, positive 4, it's going to be a negative number, and that's negative 7. Example 2. Now we have a rational coefficient. You can see that. So 1/5 of p minus 12 equals 20. Let's get rid of the 12 first. Again, reverse order of operations. So we use addition property of equality on both sides. It gets rid of the 12 on this side of the equation, and it adds 12 to this side of the equation. So now that becomes 32. And now I have 1/5 of p is 32. How do I get rid of the 1p? Well, again, you use division property of equality. And when you divide 1/5, I can show you here. When you want to divide 1/5 out, 1/5 divided by 1/5, the second step in division is using the reciprocal. So again, the second step would be this. 1/5 times this division symbol becomes a multiplication, and the second fraction is flipped. So what you're doing in division is you're multiplying by the reciprocal. And you can see they did that here. See, this 5, this is technically 5 over 1, right? So these cross over, they cross-reference, and on this side you're multiplying 5 times 32, so p equals 160. And that makes sense, because 1/5 of p, so if p is 160, 1/5 of p would be 32, right? 1/5 of 160 would be 32, and then 32 minus 12 would give you 20. Okay, now we have to try it on our own, and you see here that this is the same. It's just they wrote it the other way around, where they're writing the 8 equals 15 plus 1/3 n, right? So it's just flipped around, and you have 2b with a negative coefficient. Okay, please pause the video and try it on your own now. Pause now. Okay, I hope you tried and you are ready to check. We have 8 equals 15 plus 1/3 n. Okay, first let's get rid of the 15 on both sides. So minus 15 and minus 15. So 8 minus 15 is going to give me negative 7 on that side. And the 15s are on here, they cancel each other out. And I have 1/3 n left. So 1/3 of a number, really what they're telling me. 1/3 of a number is negative 7. So 1/3 of a number would be 21, right? But it would be negative 21. So let's see how we can get negative 21. Let's get rid of the 1/3 on this side by multiplying it by its reciprocal. And we have to do the same to this side, so it looks like this. 3 over 1 times negative 7, 3 over 1 times 1/3 of n. Okay? And on this side, we have 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. And on this side, these cross-reference and they cancel each other out, so I'm left with just n. So n equals negative 21, or negative 21 is n. Let's try 2b. First, we need to use addition property of equality to get rid of the 3. So we add 3 to both sides. These 3 cancel each other out, and on the other side we get 5. So negative 1/6 of a number is 5. Okay, let's get rid of the negative 1/6 by multiplying both sides by its reciprocal. And its reciprocal, it will continue to be negative, because the number is a negative number. It doesn't just change to positive. What changes, what we invert, is the operation. Okay, so now we get on one side, the 6's cross out, and the 1's cross out. So we get x equals negative 30. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. And there you have it. Example 3. Now in example 3, we're going to learn about how we can change a negative variable to positive, because you're not supposed to leave it as a negative in your solution. Okay, so you notice that we are using here, we have 9 minus t, and then they're going to use identity property and add in a 1, right, and then rewrite it as 9 plus negative 1t. Instead of just saying 9 minus 1t, this still equals the same, right? We haven't changed anything about it except the operation. It seems a little longer, but we do it this way, okay, so that we can get rid of the negative t. And now I have my 9 still. I have to subtract 9 from both sides to get rid of that 9. And you know that a negative and a negative on this side makes a bigger negative. So now I have negative 1t equals negative 43. Divide both sides by negative 1, and t equals 43. Let's try that. Rather than watching me do it first, go ahead, pause the video, and you try it on your own, and then play the video to check your answer. Pause now. For question 3a, we have negative 15 minus b equals 44. Let's rewrite it as negative 15 plus negative 1b equals 44. Okay, so now we know that we can divide the coefficient out later, and it will leave us with a positive variable, right? Now we have to do addition or subtraction first. So let's get rid of the negative 15 by adding 15. We add 15 to both sides, and that gets rid of it on this side, which leaves me with just a negative 1b. And on the other side, I get 59, right? And now I divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, and b equals negative 59. Question 3b. Negative 6.5 equals negative 4.3 minus n. Again, let's rewrite it so that our n has a negative coefficient in the front, and we added an addition sign, but we keep our negative sign. So it would look like this. I added a plus sign, I kept my negative, right? I put it in brackets, and I put a 1, a negative 1 coefficient on there. So I'm using property of equality. Identity property. Now I'm going to use property of equality to get rid of this negative 4.3. So I'm going to do the opposite operation, and I'm going to subtract it. So here, I'm going to add it because the value here is negative. So if I add a 4.3, it gets rid of it. Okay, but then I have to do the same to the other side. And I'm going to add a positive number to a negative, so it's going to make it a smaller negative number. And that leaves me with 2.2 negative, right? 5 minus 3 is 0.2, and 6 minus 4, yeah. And on this side, I'm left with negative 1n. And now I divide both sides by negative 1. And I'm left with negative divided by negative is a positive, so it's positive 2.2 n. So n equals positive 2.2. And finally, example 4, we see that we have more than 2 steps. What we have to do is we have to find like terms to simplify as much as we can first. So you see I have 2x plus x. Well, that simply becomes 3x. We put them together and we have 3x. See? And then from there, it's just like what we've been doing for the last 3 examples. So let's try 4a and 4b. Go ahead and pause your video now and try it on your own. Then play the video when you're ready to check. Okay, I hope you paused the video and you have your answers and you are ready to check. So we have 4 minus 9c plus 3c equals 58. I see that I have two like terms right here. I have negative 9c or minus 9c plus 3c, right? So that would give me, I have to rewrite 4 and negative 9c plus 3c. It's going to give me negative 6c equals 58. And now I have a two-step equation, right? I'm going to add 4, subtract 4 to both sides to get rid of that 4. So subtract 4, and that leaves me with negative 6c, and 58 minus 4 is 54. Now I have to divide the coefficient from both sides, so division property of equality, and it remains as a negative. The value of the number doesn't change. The operation is what's inverted. And that leaves me with c, and 54 divided by negative 6 is going to be negative 9. So c equals negative 9. Now we have 4b. 3.4 equals 0.4 m minus 2 plus 0.2 m. Again, let's find our like terms to simplify this equation a little bit more. And we have 0.4 m plus 0.2 m is going to give me 0.6 m. And I keep my minus 2, my constant, and that all equals 3.4. Okay? Now I need to do reverse order operation. Add 2 to get rid of that negative 2 to both sides. And on this side I get 5.4. 5.4 equals 0.6 m. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.6, and I'm left with m on this side, and 5.4 divided by 0.6 is the same as dividing 54 divided by 6, which is 9. So m equals 9, or 9 equals m. And finally, example 5, our last example. We have a word problem. So we're putting these operations into context. Dion wants to go on a camping trip with his hiking club. The trip costs $185.75. He paid a deposit of $45.75 and will save an additional $17.50 per week to pay for the trip. Solve this. So look, they're giving us the equation. The total is $175, as they told us. He's already paid a deposit, and now he has to save $17.50 per week. They're probably going to ask us how many weeks will he have to save for $17.50. So we're using this equation to find the number of weeks Dion will need to save money for the trip. And there we go. Okay, you've seen this done already multiple times today, so we can jump right ahead into 5. Of course, you can pause the video and read through this on your own, but for the sake of keeping the video shorter, I will jump ahead to 5. Okay, we can do this one together, or you can pause and do it on your own. Salvatore purchased a computer for $682.20. That sounds like a total to me, so I'm going to write it down, $682.20. He paid $105.40 initially. Okay, that looks like it's a constant. Okay, that has no variable because it is a number on its own. And will pay $20.60 per month, so per month M, until the computer's paid off. Oh, and here they do give us the equation. Notice they used X instead of M like I did. I used M because of months, right? So and that's what we're solving for. So here we have, so use that equation to find the number of months Salvatore will make payments for the next computer. And there we are. Okay, so first let's use subtraction property of equality. So we subtract 105 decimal 4 or $105.40 from both sides, which was the original deposit. Okay, that gets rid of it on this side. On one side of the equation, I'm left with $20.60 per month equals 576.80. Now we have to divide both sides. Let's divide by 20 decimal 6 and divide this side by 20 decimal 6. Leaves me with 1m on this side and with 28 on the other side. So m equals 28. Therefore, there will be 28 monthly payments. And here's your guided practice, which means this is the end of our video. See you next class, everyone.